Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys out there.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Cole.
And you're listening to Borrowed Bones, a podcast about fucked up, interesting, and toxic families. Today, we are talking about a family massacre.
Ooh, my favorite kind.
Yeah. You did not write about this one. This was not in Michigan. It was in Colorado.
Oh.
And I was suggested this episode by my nephew. So I'm doing it for him.
All right. Shout out to your nephew.
Yes. I just want to jump right into it. Of course, we have an Instagram, we have a Blue Sky, blah, 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 Borrowed Bones podcast. Check it out. But yes, I just want to get right into this one because when I was looking into it, it's still kind of in the internet sleuth world.
Oh, web sleuths.
Yes. And I wanted to see why. And honestly, I don't really know why. I think because sometimes the truth is simpler than what you think.
Oh, is this like something that led to conspiracy theories and whatnot?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we're going to start in the year 2018.
Oh, okay. Cool. More recent one.
Mm-hmm. We are talking about the murder of Shanann.
Shanann?
Yes. She has an apostrophe in the middle of her name there.
Oh, okay. Shanann.
So Shanann. Shanann Watts and her daughters, Bella and Celeste, were murdered by the ever-loving husband and father, Chris Watts.
Oh, this name does ring a bell for me. I can't remember why. 2018, so I probably saw something contemporaneously about it or something.
There were a few I think there was one documentary on Netflix for sure. And then there's been a few elsewhere.
Yes. Okay. I
never
vaguely
watched
remember.
it.
I think I watched it when it came. So if the murders happened in 2018, the documentary must have come out no later than like 21 or so. So I think I watched it one just boring night on Netflix. And
I just looked it up. American Murder, The Family Next Door.
Okay, there we go. I didn't know the title.
On that.
But okay. Yes.
Okay.
So it didn't stick with me. I remember it'll probably come back to me as you're saying things, but let's dive in.
Mm-hmm. All right. Chris and Shanann Watts are both from North Carolina. They met in 2010 when Chris sent Shanann a Facebook friend request, and then he directly messaged her, or he slid into her DMs.
That wasn't even a phrase back in 2010. It's weird to think back that we had Facebook in 2010.
I know. I remember learning about that phrase, hearing the DM, and I was like, what does that
I probably
mean?
First heard it in a song lyric or something. I'm always behind on the lingo.
Mm-hmm. Now, Shanann was the type of person to post everything online. Everything on Facebook, Facebook videos, Facebook Live videos.
Oh, one of those people.
Mm-hmm. And
everything I have has to be documented for everyone to see.
Yes. And at that time, Facebook was the big one.
Yeah, MySpace was fallen by the wayspace.
Yeah, that was gone. So when Chris DM'd her, she did end up making a video about that, but later on after they were dating. And she was describing how that moment felt to her.
Okay.
She said she was surprised to get a DM from him and she thought that she would never meet up with him. But then she says, well, one thing led to another. And 8 years later, we have 2 kids. We live in Colorado and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm. It's about to be the worst thing.
Yep. November 3rd, 2012, Chris and Shanann got married in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, so still living on the East Coast.
That's where they got married. And then December 17th, 2013, they welcomed their first child, Bella, and she was born in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure when they moved to Colorado. Yeah. Both of their families are from North Carolina. So
they
maybe
moved there for like work or something.
I'm not sure.
Job opportunities.
Right. I don't know why they moved there, but they moved to Colorado.
Okay. And their first daughter was born in Colorado.
And her name is Bella.
Bella.
Shanann was a great mom. She was very happy to have Bella. Chris and Shanann are in their early 30s here. And Shanann just really wanted that family life, that
the typical wholesome white picket fences.
She really wanted that, and she was getting that, so she was very happy. And then in Shanann's obituary, it reads that Shanann was so excited to have her first baby girl. She spent every minute thanking God and taking care of her precious gift that the Lord had blessed her with. She loved and cherished her.
So she's religious, too, we can assume. Her family, just the wording of that.
Yeah, I think religious in just the casual way that it is here in America. As I was saying it, I heard it coming out of my mouth.
I wouldn't say religion's casual in America.
Just in the sense that everyone thanks God and everyone feels blessed, and and everyone prays for everyone. That's what I mean by the casual Christian.
It was more casual back then.
Yes, it was.
Now we're a day and a half away from a theocracy. But anyway.
Oh, man. June of 2015, the Watts family files for bankruptcy.
Oh. Do you know what their business, what they did for
personally
careers?
Oh, yes. Both of them worked full-time, and Chris worked for Anadarko Petroleum Corporation.
Okay.
And Shanann worked as an independent contractor for a nutrition company called Level, and they sell Thrive health and wellness products.
Is that like a multi-level marketing scheme? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I've seen Thrive as an actual brand.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's the same brand, but she did travel when she was working. When she was in town, she worked from home.
Okay.
And together they had a combined income of, I think, $90,000.
Okay.
So they were doing all right, but I think that they were maybe just living outside of their means.
Yeah.
They were struggling with credit card debt, student loans, medical bills. They also lived in an area that they had to pay HOA fees.
Oh, those will do me. Those are, Yep.
HOAs
are the devil.
Yes.
They're the devil.
July 17th, 2015, their second child was born.
Oh, so they're already struggling.
Yes.
And another baby arrives. Her name, high tension.
Yeah. Her name is Celeste, and she goes by Cece.
Bella and Cece. All right.
Even though she was battling with lupus, she said that she was determined to stay healthy, and she wanted every moment with Cece. She wanted all of that.
You said Cece was born in 2017?
July 17th, 2015.
Oh, okay. All right. Just make sure I have my ages correct by the time we get to 2018.
May 15th, 2018. So we're jumping ahead. Shanann posts a 31-minute Facebook Live video talking about... I know. No, nothing against Shanann or anyone. She truly felt this way, but in today's world,
it's just a personality trait in general that I'm like, what?
I think TikTok really ran away with this whole mom talk culture thing, and now it feels like a money grab. Even a few years ago, 2018, it didn't feel quite as fake.
Yeah.
So I do think Shanann was authentically trying to connect with people and trying to fill the void that everyone tries to fill with social media. Yeah.
And you never can.
Nope.
So don't try.
We have an Instagram, though. Well, Shanann posts a 31-minute Facebook Live video, and she talks about the joys of life and how she's happy to be where she is. She says, I love waking up now on Saturdays, being able to enjoy my family. And then she continues on to say she's excited for the upcoming summer, and she believes that everything happens for a reason. Chris is in the background playing with the girls during this video, just kind of showing a wholesome moment in their world. 1 month later, June of 2018, Shanann surprises Chris with the news that they're expecting their third child.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's been a few years since the bankruptcy.
Okay.
You know, they had that in 2015. It's now 2018. It's not a long time to have 2 kids after that, I guess, now that I say it out loud. Yeah, I can imagine there's some pressure there. Shanann said...
also, sorry.
You're okay.
But like the 30, I'm sure she was being genuine with the video, but also a 31-minute video saying how happy you are is... Right. Like, overcompensation and like what the I will never believe someone telling me they're happy for 31 minutes. I will never believe that.
I do wonder what happens when the videos aren't being recorded.
Yeah.
Not saying that they were abusive or anything like that,
knows?
Because friends and family on both sides were surprised by all of this. But still, just because you're not in like a horrible abusive relationship doesn't mean you're in a good one. Yeah. Maybe you just didn't get along. Maybe
people need to rent billboards to say how happy they are. I just see a liar. It's like when someone says I'm a good person without a trace of irony. It's like, well, no, you're not.
Yeah. I think from what I've read anyway, I think that she did love him, but it wasn't reciprocated, and she was feeling that. And I think she really wanted to show him,
impress,
hey, I love you. Look at how great this is. This is wonderful. Look at this.
I've done everything for you. I've made a perfect life for you. Why aren't you happy with this? What more can I do?
Yes.
We're speculating, but.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In the reaction video that Shanann sets up, she's wearing a shirt that says, oops, we did it again. Once they find out that it's a little boy, they name him Nico.
Okay. With a C or a K?
C.
Okay.
What if I said K?
I'm just curious.
Just pure curiosity.
Yeah. I like to know things.
Okay.
If it was a K, I would think he's more Greek descendant maybe, but C, I'm just thinking, oh, they just like the sound of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. June 17th, Shanann posts another video saying Happy Father's Day to Chris. She said she was blessed to have him and that he does so much for them every day. Also, in June of 2018, Chris begins an affair with his coworker, Nicole Kessinger.
Of course he does.
Nicole worked in the environmental department at their
petroleum.
Anadarko Petroleum.
Okay.
At first, it's just cute little conversations at work. And then 1 month later, July, they start meeting up outside of the office.
This whole thing of like guys having these prolonged affairs, like it just seems like so much work.
I know.
Like you've been bankrupt once. You've got 2 kids. You got a third one on the way. Like, it just seems like another chore.
You have enough.
Yeah, it's just like another thing I would have to do.
Yeah, maybe get the divorce, break up,
yeah, sure.
But now you're not doing anything in secrecy. That's one less step you have to take.
Yeah, why people take on extra stressors?
They call it a thrill. I call it high cortisol. That gives me wrinkles. No thanks. Chris and Nicole begin meeting up multiple times a week, like 3 to 5 times.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. To our point. That's difficult to do.
I would rather just sleep than have an affair. Like any time you would spend on having an affair, just go to sleep. Because even an affair is something you have to work at. And like, I don't want to work anymore.
I don't want to work anymore.
I just want to sleep. Keep rolling.
Okay. He tells Nicole, oh, fuck. Okay.
She tells Nicole, oh, fuck, I can't do this.
No. He tells Nicole the classic that he's in the process of getting a divorce and that whole storyline.
Paperwork's in the mail.
In late June of 2018, so we're kind of overlapping here. So
yeah, his double
Chris,
lives.
Yeah, they're hanging out in July right now of having an affair. Late June, Shanann takes the kids to North Carolina for a 6-week summer break to visit her family.
Without the husband.
Without the husband.
Okay.
So he starts this little love affair right at the same time that she leaves.
Okay, so it's a little
I guess that's easier.
It's a little more convenient when your wife's just flat out gone for a month and a half.
Chris does plan to meet up with them during the last leg of their vacation, but they're doing the bulk of it separate.
Yeah. The dad at work is always planning to meet him at the end.
Yes. I'm working really hard. I can't take all that time off.
Yeah.
Yep. Once the family is in North Carolina and Chris is still in Colorado, Chris tells Nicole that he is divorced. It's done.
Oh.
Yeah. So Nicole's just like truly a bystander and like she doesn't know what's going on. Nicole goes to Chris's home for the first time on the 4th of July. They also went on a date to an American collection car museum, July 14th. Then they spent the night at the Great Sand Dunes on July 28th. It's a national park.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this, well, the family's on vacation, just waiting for him to join up.
What does the other woman, what does she think about the kids? I'm assuming she knows he has kids. He's a coworker. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what his story was, but it's easy to say she moved back to North Carolina. Yeah. She works remotely for her job. I mean, it's easy to cover up the divorce in that moment.
She visited the house.
Yes.
Now, maybe he redecorated, but I would think it's going to be pretty, I mean, I don't know. I'm picturing like that
probably
typical
photos.
Family house is going to have a woman's touch.
I'm guessing.
I could just pass it off if I haven't had time yet. It's too fresh and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Very easy to write off in this time frame here. Mm-hmm. July 31st, Chris finally meets up with his family in North Carolina. So they've been apart for about a month.
Cool.
While they were all together in North Carolina, Shanann was texting with a few of her friends, and she was venting, talking about how her marriage isn't doing well, and she mentioned tension between her and her in-laws, just overall a distant, not a great end of the vacation there.
The vacation has taken its toll.
Mm-hmm.
It's run its course.
Yeah. Now, Shanann is the type of person that communicates with her close group of friends daily. She sends them good morning texts every morning, like, hello, beautiful, things like that. When she was in North Carolina, she was messaging them quite a bit about the distance between her and her husband. She even sent a photo of herself and him, how they were sitting. He was looking away at the time, but they were sitting far apart from one another. Now, even though she knew and heavily suspected the affair, she still was telling her friends, we'll work through it, we'll go to therapy. She really was going to make this work. Yes.
Forgive his infidelity.
Even before she really knew about it. Yeah.
That's, wow. I don't know if you...
She's devoted.
To preemptively forgive someone as they're still doing the crime.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if she would be mad knowing exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Soon after their trip to North Carolina, it is now August 9th. They're back home in Colorado. Shanann has to go to Arizona for a work trip. Chris and Shanann had a relationship talk right before she left, and Shanann messaged her friends that was their best talk yet.
Oh.
So she left optimistic.
Okay.
While she's on this work trip, Shanann meets up with some friends that she knows in the area. And she's confiding in them about her marital struggles, catching up on other things as well, when she receives an alert on her phone. And she sees that her card was charged at a restaurant for more than what it would be typically if Chris got food there. And it was kind of an unusual charge. And with her suspicions already, she was like, what's going
for dinner on my credit card?
And that's exactly what was happening. Chris was at dinner with Nicole after he left the kids with a babysitter. He was supposed to be home with the kids.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The audacity.
Yeah. So she's probably like, what the fuck? He's supposed to be at home.
Yeah.
Why is he doing what's going on here? They don't really talk about it, though, to my knowledge.
Okay. Well,
so suspicion, she's traveling. Yeah. August 13th is when Shanann comes home. It's around 2 a.m. and one of her friends picked her up from the airport and dropped her off at home.
All right.
That would be the last time Shanann walks into her house.
Last time she was seen alive outside of the house.
Yes.
Okay.
In the early morning of August 13th, Chris wakes up Shanann as he's getting ready for work. He says he wants to talk about their marriage and their future. It's probably around 5 a.m. at this point.
Okay.
Chris tells Shanann about his affair and says their marriage won't last. Shanann then says he won't ever see the kids again.
Oh.
Exactly.
So she wasn't as forgiving as she thought.
Right.
Good.
Chris then strangles Shanann to death.
Is this his account or
this?
How do we know that
this
kind
is
of event?
One of his accounts.
Okay.
And it's pretty much a guideline. We can follow this. He adds details and takes some out here and there, but this is the basis of it.
Okay. I'm just taking if it's his account, a small grain of salt, just because obviously he's self-serving and is going to try to alleviate his guilt here and there where he can to justify certain things. Even if he's confessing to it, he's still going to minimize culpability a little bit.
Yeah. And he does. This one, yes, he does slowly add things, take things out, certain details, but I don't want to give away some details that he lets in later. I'll let the story tell itself.
Okay.
Shanann says he won't ever see the kids again, and then Chris strangles Shanann to death. Their daughter, Bella, who's 4 years old at the time, she comes into the room and asks, "What's wrong with Mommy?" Chris then wraps Shanann in a sheet and carries her to his truck. Chris then puts his 2 kids, Bella and Celeste, who's
Cece.
3, in the backseat of his truck where their mom is laying on the floor beneath their feet.
Jesus.
Yep. Chris drives an hour to his work site. He parks and he drags Shanann out of the truck and he buries her in a shallow grave. Chris then returns to his truck where he smothers Cece with the blanket and then takes her and puts her in one of the 2 oil batteries. They're big oil tanks.
The big drums.
So you have to get on a ladder and climb
like
up
4
to the top.
stories tall,
Yes.
big round. Okay, I can picture those. Yeah. But yeah. Those, you're usually in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
It's Colorado, so I'm picturing like deserty, mountainous. Yeah.
When Chris comes back to the truck, he proceeds to smother Bella with the blanket and then takes her body and puts it in the second oil battery. And as we said, these oil batteries are big and you have to climb up the stairs, but at the top, the hole that you use to fill it up with is only 8 inches in diameter.
Wow.
Yeah. For this one anyway. I don't know how they all are, but this one in the reports said that that's how big it is. Right.
All right.
Yeah. He had to push his daughters through that.
Damn. It's a cold bastard.
Now, as you and I mentioned just a second ago, Chris would confess a few times. He switched things up here and there. I gave us what happened.
Okay.
Now, at this point right here, this is what the police know. I thought it'd be easier to understand his changes if we know what happened first.
Okay.
So right now, the police know that Chris claims to leave for work around 5:15 or 5:30 a.m. on August 13th.
How do the police get involved in this?
At 1:40 p.m. on August 13th, Shanann's friend, Nicole Atkinson, not the affair Nicole,
okay.
She calls the police.
All right.
To say that she is concerned about Shanann. Friend Nicole is the one that dropped her off from the airport.
Okay.
Now, she called and texted Shanann a few times that day and never got a reply, which is weird.
Yeah, she's somebody who texts
constantly.
All day, first thing in the morning kind of thing.
Yes.
So
her friends also realized that Shanann missed a prenatal appointment that morning, which they knew she would never do.
Yeah. And she's already told some of these friends, that she's having marital stress, marital issues. Okay.
Friend Nicole urged the police to do a welfare check. She was like, I'm concerned. I just need a welfare check. In one of the documentaries, I saw that friend Nicole also called Chris and told him, hey, we need to get into your house. We don't know where Shanann is. She's not responding. And he was a little relaxed about it. He was just like, oh, she went to a friend's house with the kids. They're like, what friend?
Yeah.
We're all
we
her
are
friends.
the friends.
Like, who?
Okay, so that makes sense that she would call him first before calling the cops.
So then that's when Nicole said, if you don't come here, I'm calling the cops.
Okay.
And then Chris responded with, we don't need to get the police involved, which also kind of red flagged in Nicole's head of why would that be your response?
Yeah.
Why aren't you worried? So friend Nicole called the police. And shortly after the police arrive, Chris shows up.
Okay.
And in this documentary, you can see the police body cam
Oh,
so this is the visual you're having now, or I was having. And I see Chris come up and he's really not looking at anyone in the eye. He unlocks the door for the police to come in, but he shoves himself front. But he doesn't really do anything. It's not like he's running from room to room.
I remember vaguely some of this footage from the Netflix documentary.
Okay.
I remember, the body cam footage being a big selling point of that.
Yeah, he's just being weird. And I don't like to judge people on how they deal with situations like this because you never know. I'm someone who laughs at funerals. That's awful, but I am that asshole because I don't know what else to do. It sucks. Sorry. But this is just kind of the first of many. He's acting a little weird, being nervous. Nicole is the one. Friend Nicole is the one who notices all of Shanann's daily things still everywhere. Her purse, her phone, her keys, her medicine that she took daily because of lupus. Things like that were
stuff she would not leave behind for any reason. The shit you take out of the house with you is a matter of course.
Yeah. And in the body cam footage, you just see Chris walking from room to room, like acting like he's looking around. But Nicole notices this stuff and she's, oh, her keys.
Yeah.
Oh my God, her phone. She would never leave. And then she gets on her phone right away to call her other friends. I mean, she's reacting the way you think someone would. The more you find, the more you don't know, kind of. The more she's finding,
the deeper the mystery becomes. Yeah.
And Chris is just
nonchalant.
Yeah, walking around, nervous looking. It's weird. The police noticed that there wasn't much really, no evidence of a struggle or violence, but they did notice that there was no sheets or covers on the bed.
Oh.
And it smelled very clean, like a little too clean.
Yeah, like you just did a cleaning.
So they just noted that.
Yeah.
Then the police and Chris go to Chris's neighbor's house because the neighbor has a security camera, like a Ring camera, that could see Chris's driveway.
All right.
It wasn't the best view, but you could see some of it.
Yeah.
The camera shows the truck back up to the garage, but you can only see Chris's feet because the truck is on the other side. So you don't really see anything else, just the truck backing up. And then as I was watching this, because it's still the police body cam footage that I'm watching this security camera footage through, but I can also see Chris and the neighbor watching the security camera footage.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I see Chris behaving oddly. And I don't know Chris, so I was thinking, okay, let me look at the neighbor to see how he's looking at Chris. And the neighbor looked weird.
Oh, it's a male neighbor, too.
Yes.
Okay.
And the neighbor looked weird. And I was like, okay, I wonder what's going to happen here. Chris walks away. He exits. And the neighbor quickly glances over at the officer. And he just leans up and whispers, he ain't acting right.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, shit, there it is. There it is. So the police don't have any solid evidence at all right now. But, they're circling.
Are they asking about the children? I mean, the ones too young, unless they're in like preschool or daycare. Oh, is he saying that she took the kids with her to the friend?
She took the kid. Yes.
All right. So they're not like unaccounted for as far as.
Yeah. They assume they're all together.
All together.
If they're all missing, they're all together. Gotcha. Yeah. Yes. They put out like a missing persons report for all of them.
And all that stuff.
The following day, August 14th, Chris pleads for his family's return on the local news.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. Chris looks into the camera and he says, Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. If somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring them back.
At least you got their names right.
Yeah, I know. I watched that little clip as well, and his eyes look dead. Again, one of these things alone, you can't really judge, but everything put together, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm looking at it. By this point, like I said, there's missing person. Now it's a couple days later, and we have the FBI in on this, and Colorado Bureau of Investigation is involved. So we have quite a few investigators looking at this, and they see another local interview. They go, oh, let's watch.
Yeah.
So they watch, and they noted that Chris was already talking about his family in the past tense.
Yep.
They were like, huh.
That'll get you.
All right. He said that Bella was going to be starting kindergarten, like was going to be doing this. We were going to do that. She was this way. Like,
what a fucking idiot.
So stupid. So these investigators basically know, but they can't do anything yet. August 15th, 2018. So it's only been a few days.
Yeah.
Chris agrees to a polygraph test.
Idiot.
Yep.
If
That's
this guy had just, this whole, like, if he just kept his mouth shut, like, let the cops think all they want.
Yeah.
If they can't prove it, like.
Yeah. So he took a polygraph test and he failed.
Yeah.
They said he failed miserably. I guess typically the score, I don't know what it's called, the threshold, if you're lying or not, is -4. So I think -3 is probably like, you're okay. -4 is you're out.
Yeah.
He scored -18.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all hoodoo, but still.
It worked.
Yeah.
Because after failing the polygraph test, he asks to speak to his father. So the investigators leave the police interview room, and his father comes into the police interview room, which is always being recorded.
Yeah.
He says that he killed her, that he killed Shanann.
This is why cops use polygraph tests, not because they actually are lie detectors. They use it as a device to fuck with the suspects' heads. That's what they use it for. And it works a lot of times.
Yep. It works even if you're innocent, too. So don't do it.
Not the guy who invented the polygraph
was for plants.
Yeah, and he said, do not use this to gauge truth or deception.
Yeah. Y'all should look into that. For real. Polygraphs were made for plants, and it's kind of terrifying to know how sentient plants are. Anyway. So Chris tells his dad that he killed Shanann. And, of course, he ends up telling officials as well.
Yeah.
He says he killed Shanann, but not his daughters. So his first ever confession was
he's already
wife, but not the kids.
He knows he went too far. He knows that's too beyond the pale.
Yep. He says he killed Shanann because he discovered that she smothered their daughters.
What? Oh, okay, I get it. Okay.
So
he's saying that she killed them, and then he was so enraged he killed her.
Okay. Yep. Chris said that he saw Shanann smothering the girls on like the baby monitor.
Okay.
So they were smothered by the time he got into the room, and he killed her.
You wouldn't call the cops or something to be like, hey, I'm watching my wife. I'm going to drive the hour home from work and stop her myself instead of. Okay, well.
Yeah, I mean, the officials got what they wanted. They got him to leak open a little bit. At least he's going to go behind bars. And now they can just poke and poke and poke those holes. They just wanted him to admit to something.
Yeah.
Because they knew. They're like, just say one thing.
And they need the bodies. There's no. Yeah.
August 16th, they found all of the bodies. Shanann, Bella, and Cece's.
How did they find them? Did he tell them where to look in his confession? Okay.
Yes, he did tell them where the bodies were. And then during one of he has a few confessions throughout like 6 months.
Yeah, the accounts vary.
Yeah. And so one person at one point asked him why he put Bella and Cece in the oil batteries and why he couldn't just bury them all together.
Just bury them in one
like, why would he do that? And he just said that he was so enraged at the time and he didn't want his wife to be buried with her kids. Yeah. Just evil. Just being evil.
It's so impractical. I mean, you wonder what really was going through his head.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like more work, too. Like,
yeah, it's very odd.
I mean, clearly she didn't kill her kids. Clearly he did them all.
Yeah.
But the disposal just seems so...
It doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
And then on the same day, August 16th, was Chris's bond hearing.
Okay.
What's...
It's like an arraignment. So they probably arrested him, bring him before a judge, and the judge has to set $1 or a bond amount for him to be released pending trial.
All right. Well, they denied bond.
Yeah, which is typical in a murder case, let alone a triple murder case.
Yeah. The police also interviewed Nicole Kessinger, the affair on August 16th as well. This was a big day.
Yeah. This is fast-moving investigation.
It's very fast. She told the police, quote, I liked this quote, I legitimately think his cheese was sliding off his cracker long before he met me.
I say that all the time.
I've heard you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard it in like the wild before.
I don't know where I got it from. Like I heard it in something or I read it somewhere. I don't know, but I've said it for as long as I can recall. If someone's just still mentally tweaked or whatever.
She was always very cooperative with the police, Nicole Kessinger. She has nothing to do with any of this. So
just caught in the middle.
She's simply caught in the middle. She's got nothing to do with any of it. Also, I did read that Chris was into working out, but not like bodybuilding, but he was into like those supplements and those powders and that kind of stuff.
Creatine shits.
Yes. Yeah, for real. And Nicole, in one of her interviews, mentions that he would have these patches. He would do more than what the dose should be. So I think he is hopped up on a lot of these supplements and
roid rage and
So there's that happening in the background as
on
well.
Those Alec Jones crow beaks and chicken feet supplements.
August 21st, still in 2018, just 1 week after Chris was pleading for his family to come home.
Yeah.
Chris was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder,
mm-hmm.
and then an additional 2 charges for the victims being 12 or younger.
Okay.
He also faced another count for the unlawful termination of a pregnancy, plus 3 more counts of tampering with a body.
Okay.
I believe that's 9, if my math is correct.
Wait a minute. 3, 2,
1 for the unlawful termination. Yeah.
And then 2 counts of tampering with a body, or 3 counts?
3 counts of first-degree murder.
Gotcha.
2 charges for the victims being 12 or younger.
Mm-hmm.
1 for termination of pregnancy. And then 3 for tampering with body.
Okay, yeah, so 9.
Sweet. Okay. I got nervous. September 1st, a funeral is held for Shanann, Bella, and Celeste in North Carolina. I normally put where the cemetery is. I didn't want to.
People can find it if they're that curious.
Well, Shanann's family, unfortunately, was harassed quite a bit after this for no good reason.
By whom? Like the media or
internet web sleuths?
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get into that at the end. So that's unfortunate, which is sad because Shanann, Bella, and Cece are victims along with Shanann's family.
Web sleuths doesn't seem like that complicated of a case.
It's
for like it seems pretty open and shut as far as what happened and who did it.
Like I said, he confesses different times, but he never takes away his own guilt of doing the murders.
He never says somebody else came in and
if anything, he might be wishy-washy with who killed the kids, but
that makes sense.
He killed his wife.
Like he probably he probably feels some guilt or shame, whatever you want to call it, for killing his children.
Yes,
and so he's trying to mitigate that in his own head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why the internet has to take things and make them bigger than what they are. And this seems like something that... Anyway, we'll get into it. It seems like something that ran away. At the funeral, Shanann's dad read, and this is about Shanann.
Mm-hmm.
You are nothing but pure love, always caring for everyone. You will always be daddy's little girl. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
November 6th, 2018. Chris pleads guilty to all 9 counts.
Wow.
There was a plea deal. Shanann's family did not want him to face the death penalty.
Oh, they didn't?
They didn't. And the courts were like, all right, well, if he does this deal, then we'll take the death penalty off the table. So everyone agreed.
Wow.
So this is a very fast moving case.
Yeah, that's like the fastest.
Yes.
Like in like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I know.
From like...
Well, now it's November.
Now November.
November 6th is when he pleads guilty. But still, it's, I think, 3 months total.
I've never seen a defendant plead guilty to a homicide charge that quick after. Not even close.
Right.
Let alone plead as charged.
And this is where the internet bullshit comes into play, where people go, that never happens. No, it really never does. But one person did do it because we're humans and we have outliers, and maybe he just feels really, really bad.
Plus, it's a good deal for him.
It's a good deal for him. He's not going to die.
I guarantee his defense attorney was like, I mean, he has no defense. He has no defense.
No.
So all any attorney could tell him is, you're we just got to negotiate life without parole against the death penalty. That's all we have to work with.
Yeah, that's all we're going for. Well, okay, here we are. Here it is.
Like we have no, you've confessed. There's no other suspects. There's all the evidence points to you. There's nothing.
Right.
And the victims, like if you go in front of a jury with 2 children, a father accused of strangling his 2 children, even, presumed innocent until proven guilty, whatever, but not really. Not.
Yeah, they're not going to look kindly on you.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's going to be an uphill battle to be found not guilty.
Smart to take this deal.
Yeah.
And so internet, web, sleuth, whatever people can just chill. He was smart to do this, and that's why he did it. That's the answer, because it was the best case scenario for him in this moment. Also, I did notice, and I don't know if this would lead to any conspiracy theories in anyone's minds, when I was trying to look for, like, the transcripts of the court trial and to see the actual government documents of things, the links errored out. I wasn't able to follow the links, but I did read in the fine print that it said available upon request. Yeah,
which is typical for like court transcripts are, I don't know what they are in Colorado, but the whole transcript is never just usually published. This one they might have done because it's such a high profile one. But it's probably just put on a link that expired.
Yeah.
Plus, courts change their servers all the time. They get new websites. They upload, they transfer materials, and sometimes what was ever on the old system just isn't transferred over. Right. It's not a grand conspiracy.
Yeah, there's no cover up there. You can get it if you want to FOIA. If you want it, you can get it.
Probably just call the courthouse and
or
ask
just call,
for it, and they'll probably just charge you whatever the fee is to mail it and print it. That's it.
Yep. Right. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything more to this than what Chris and the police are saying.
Yeah. Like, what do the web sleuths think? That he's like a patsy, that somebody else killed the family, and he's so scared that, like, what are they thinking?
I didn't go to any of those websites, and there's apparently some Facebook pages about it, but I don't have a Facebook, so I didn't look. I think it's more just he's innocent, or he didn't do it, or something like that. I don't really know. I didn't follow any of the stupid theory. I didn't read any, because I don't care.
Yeah.
This is the story. I researched the real one. November 19th, Chris is sentenced to life in prison, officially.
Without possibility of parole, I'm guessing.
Parole.
Yeah.
The judge that sentenced Chris, he said that this is, quote, perhaps the most inhumane, vicious crime I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen.
Mm-hmm. Whenever I get a judge saying something along those lines at sentencing, that's like always my lead. Whenever a judge is like, they've never seen something as heinous or vicious in their 12 years on the bench, or they've never seen a crime as brutal in their 40 years of being an attorney,
Yeah. It always does leave a mark when the judge says something that big.
Yeah.
The judge issued 5 lifetime sentences with an additional 84 years for the unlawful termination of the pregnancy and the disposing of the bodies of his family.
Yeah.
Why can't we just say he's got life? I don't understand the 84 years.
In paperwork, there's literally like a rubric where they add up points to determine the number of years, or at least in Michigan, it's down to months.
Oh.
And it's just a formality to be like, these are literally the number of months that he will be in prison, even if it clearly just overspans a lifespan.
Well, I guess you got to be safe.
It's just
okay.
Yeah, I always thought it's comical too, but it is.
It's for the books.
Life plus 50, life plus like whatever.
All right, sure. If I make it beyond life, add the 84, sure.
Some people have gotten sentenced to multiple death penalties. Like Ted Bundy had 3 death penalties.
Well, those were in different states, though.
No, they were all in Florida.
Oh, shit.
How can you be killed 3 times?
Whatever. Also in November, Shanann's family filed a lawsuit against Chris for wrongful death. They would go on to win the lawsuit for millions of dollars. Of course, they knew they weren't going to see it. They just didn't want Chris to be able to make any money off of this in the future. I mean, 5 lifetimes in prison, he's going to write a book at some point, right?
But inmates cannot personally profit off art, literature, or whatever that is about their crimes. So there is that.
True. Maybe they just really wanted to make sure he couldn't make any money ever.
Yeah, because he can still make money and earn money in prison, but
they just didn't want him to have any of it.
Yeah, but
Shortly after Chris was incarcerated, he had to be moved to another facility for safety concerns.
Yeah.
Too many people knew him in the local prison. They hated him because of murdering his daughters. That's what did it. He was like bottom of the totem pole.
And then who do you have? Like, obviously you have the other inmates to be afraid of, but then who do you ask to defend you? The guards who are going home to their families every day?
Exactly.
You are like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris was moved to Dodge Correctional Facility in Wisconsin, a high security
He was
prison.
moved to a different state.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I've like never heard of it.
Really?
I mean, I'm assuming he was convicted on state level charges in Colorado, not federal charges.
It all happened in Colorado.
Yeah, and there's no interstate.
Yeah.
But that's weird for him to be moved to Wisconsin. They might have had he can't be held anywhere in Colorado. Yeah. He's too well known.
I guess inmates would this is just one little tidbit that I read. I'm sure there was worse. But one thing I read was inmates would constantly, daily yell suggestions for him on how to kill himself.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Just constantly, he says. So that's just a mental mind fuck. February 18th, 2019, investigators felt they could get more out of Chris. Because at this point, he still hasn't said he's killed his daughters.
Oh, okay.
We just know this.
Yeah.
But he's only sticking by he killed Shanann. So they're like, we just want more information. I don't know why they keep going at him.
They don't need it. Like,
exactly.
You don't need. He's already been convicted of them. It doesn't matter if he did not. I mean, murderers deny killings all the time and still can get convicted. And the cops don't go back and they're like, so why'd you do it?
I know. And they found the bodies.
Yeah.
So I don't really know why they went back to look, but they did.
Yeah.
And they visited Chris, and there was a 5-hour interview.
Damn.
Where he does confess to killing his daughters and disposing of their bodies.
Okay.
Chris said, quote, "This was like the epitome of being angry, the epitome of showing rage, the epitome of losing your mind."
I'd say so.
Chris also said that when he was in the truck after he killed Cece and he was going back for Bella, that Bella asked him if he was going to do the same thing to her as he did to Cece. And he said yes. And she tried to fight back. And her last words were, "Daddy, no."
Damn.
Chris also talked about killing Shanann. He said on the morning of August 13th, he woke Shanann up and he was sitting on top of her, straddling her as she was lying on the bed on her back. And they were discussing their marriage and their future. And then Shanann confronted him about the affair. Chris denied it. He told her that their marriage wasn't working and it wouldn't last and that he didn't love her. That's when Shanann told Chris that he would never see the kids again. And then that's when he strangled Shanann.
Okay.
He's very consistent with Shanann saying he'll never see the kids again. I don't know if she said that or not, but either way, why would killing them...
Well, that kind of makes sense a little bit for give some context to his actions, that maybe he's then destroying the kids too because they were so important to her, and that you're going to take them from me. I'll just destroy them entirely.
Yeah, destroy all of them.
It's not rational, but I could see that train of thought of, like, why do your girlfriend's going to leave you, so you kill her. If she can't be with me, no one. Kind of like, well, you lose her by killing her too.
Yeah,
like you lose your kids by killing them. Yeah, but,
It's strange. Yeah, I don't know.
Does crime lead to stupidity or stupidity lead to crime?
I don't know. After he strangled his wife, Bella walks into the room asking what's wrong with mommy. That's when Chris then wraps Shanann in the sheet, drags her down the stairs, and puts her in his truck.
It's so bizarre that he drove with them still alive. Because there's that cooling off period of, it's approximately an hour drive, you said, from...
Yeah.
What's he telling them on the way?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Chris says that on the drive there for that hour, he was contemplating killing himself after he killed everyone else. He did look back at one point and he just saw Bella and Cece like comforting each other. They were crying. And just, Bella was a really good big sister is one thing that I read quite a bit. And she was always helping Cece. He said he didn't want them to know that Shanann was beneath them. So he did put her in 2 trash bags and the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they knew until the last second that that was their mom beneath them. Not that it makes it any better. But yeah, there wasn't much thought in his head, though. He just was angry and rageful, and the epitome of rage. That's what was going through his head.
Yeah. Again, this cooling off. If he killed them all there.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Right.
Like you did plan things. You did think about them not wanting to recognize that the item under their feet was their mom. So you did take steps to prevent that, which is a degree of, again, compassion or some degree
something, yeah.
So like it's not just a Hulk out.
Yeah, exactly.
Wolverine berserker rage.
Right. So
I can believe the first one, like, yeah.
Yeah. He does say that he felt like something else was controlling him that day.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Mm-hmm. During the interview, Chris is in his cell, and the investigators see pictures of Shanann and the kids all over like his walls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many he has, but he has multiple pictures of them. Chris said that he talks to them every day, and he reads books to his little girls.
Well, that's audacious. I don't think that they would want to hear from him.
Yeah, exactly. When he was talking about the affair with Nicole Kessinger, he admitted to it. He did finally say, like, yep, I was having an affair, because he goes back and forth with admitting that. But I think finally now he's like, yes, that happened.
Might as well. Nothing to lose now.
But he makes it a point to say that she pursued him. So I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
Chris then adds in this interview that he resented Shanann for taking him away from his family. And he goes on to paint Shanann as controlling, and their family had money issues because of her and her spending. And he just starts to blame her for him killing her, I guess.
Yeah, typical.
Yeah. But he never said why he killed them. Like, really why. I think that's what some of these investigators were wanting. They wanted the why. They were like, but why? You had normal marital issues. You didn't have anything more than that. You could have just left.
You don't need the why. That's where all conspiracies come from. Conspiracy theories of, it makes sense to me. It's the why. And like, things just happen. You don't, like, the workings of anyone's mind
you don't know
are indecipherable. And like, what rationale could this guy say that would make you go, oh, okay, I get it now, thanks.
True.
Like, that's what I'm always wondering when people are like, well, what's the motive? Like, what answer are they going to give you that's going to totally click for you to go, okay, yeah, I would do the same thing in that situation.
Yeah.
There isn't. The why you can live without. Who, what, where, when, how. That's what I care about.
That's a good point to take, yeah. Because you're not going to know.
Asking why presupposes that there's an answer to be given.
Yeah.
And there isn't.
I don't think there is. Yeah. I think
it makes sense in his head, just like everyone's actions make sense to themselves.
Yeah. So we don't always know the why, or we never know the why, and we have to stop trying to figure it out. You typically just hurt the families at that point.
That's all you do. Yeah.
I did find a recent documentary that was uploaded to YouTube about 6 months ago, but I've looked at the original airing of this documentary on TV, and that was in 2021.
Okay.
This is one of the more recent things I could find on him. And this documentary talks more about his life behind bars, and there is yet another confession he does. I don't really care about him.
Yeah.
But it is kind of nice to know how he's struggling, though. So we'll talk about it a little bit. In his first prison, like I said, was offered suggestions to kill himself. He needed constant protection, but wasn't really getting it. And early on, he was isolated for 23 hours a day. He was only allowed out to eat and exercise.
Yeah.
It didn't last forever, but he was like that in the beginning. After he moved to the high security prison in Wisconsin, it was okay at first. Eventually, people did realize who he was, though, and he had guards around him pretty much 24/7 whenever he was out of his cell.
Yeah, sure. Even the Aryan gang didn't want him.
Right. He did get protection from those
guards.
Yeah, I think just maybe a higher security. They had more people. They had more eyes everywhere, just more staff.
Yeah.
Even though he was going through all this, not really having the best time in prison, he was getting fan mail.
Of course.
Yes.
Kill my babies too.
Yep. They didn't believe that he did it, even though he admitted it and he pled guilty.
I'm guessing he was a fairly good looking guy.
Average, very average. I mean, he was thin. He looked kind of healthy.
I'm guessing he had a full head of hair and was...
I mean, the most things...
He wasn't ugly, I'm guessing.
average looking, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Average. An average looking guy. Even though he pled guilty, these women still thought there was something wrong with the trial. They thought it was weird how fast it went. Only 3 months with a case like this. Normally trials like this last years.
Well, it wasn't even a trial. He pleaded.
Or yes, normally cases like this last years. There's one woman that was in this documentary that was the main fangirl.
Yeah.
She was saying that those were her reasons. Like, well, it's weird to us that like the case only lasted 3 months and there's no actual evidence that says that he didn't. I'm like, except for him saying he did it.
How many cases do you follow to say that this is so rare? What's your average? What's the norm for you? How many cases have you looked at to say that this is unusual?
Exactly.
Like, shut up.
The interesting thing, though, is that Chris doesn't respond to this fan mail.
Oh.
He throws most of it away. This one woman, he didn't throw her letter away. He gave it to his cellmate. And they ended up having like a weird relationship. But as soon as the cellmate got out of prison and they tried to do like an actual relationship, she left because she was just using him to talk to Chris. That's
if I was the cellmate, I would have just written as if I were Chris.
Yeah. It was so silly. So stupid. Through all of this fan mail, though, there was one letter that came through that was not fan mail.
Hate mail?
Not hate mail. Someone that did say, I believe you're guilty, but I still want to hear your story.
Okay.
She's an author.
Here we go.
Sherilyn Cadle.
I don't know the name.
Cadle is her last name, and I never looked up how to pronounce it. I'm just realizing right now. So I hope it's pronounced Cadle. Her first name is Sherilyn, though.
Okay.
So we'll call her Sherilyn. She was touched by the case in the way that like you and I would be touched, not in a fan way. She also was interested in the why and wanted more details because he wasn't really giving too much. So she was curious and wanted to write about it. He didn't respond right away. She had to write him a few letters, and then finally he responded, and he said in his letter to her that he wanted to clear his wife's name.
What does that mean?
He didn't want people to think that Shanann killed her daughters.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that a few people thought he did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to clear her name of the thing that no one believed?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, what was she accused of? Oh, yeah, I forgot that his dumbass accused her of that.
He thinks, yeah, no one believes you, but okay. Sure. So
it's like the opposite of the Jared Leto accusations. Of course we believe you. Obviously. Just waiting for those allegations to come out.
Yeah, I know. No one's even surprised anymore with it all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thought those allegations were made years ago.
Yeah, I know. I just assumed.
Yeah.
So Sherilyn visited Chris for the first time in April of 2019. And their communication lasts between April and October of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, when they met, Chris admitted quite a bit to Sherilyn. He said that when Shanann told him about her pregnancy, he was not happy. He didn't want the kid because he wanted to do his affair with Nicole.
Why'd he get her pregnant then?
Exactly. That's what I thought too. You know how it works. Stop.
Well, he's stupid, so maybe he doesn't.
Yeah. Chris said that he tried poisoning Shanann to induce a miscarriage when they were in North Carolina together.
You should have read his Bible. There's a recipe in there that God gives on how to do that.
Oh, yeah. That's right. God gives a recipe on abortion.
How to make a tea.
Well, he was drugging her with oxycodone.
Oh.
So, that's nice. Yeah.
Here's a drug. I don't know what it'll do, but it's a drug.
Yeah. She just got very sick.
Yeah.
And that was it. I mean, good that, she didn't have a miscarriage. I mean, anyway. But yes. And then as Chris continues to talk to Sherilyn, he starts saying how he's a changed man. He's found God.
It's weird how God's always hiding in prison.
Always in prison.
Would have been a lot more useful to you before you did the thing that sent you to prison. But God's tricky like that.
Chris also starts talking about some demonic things and saying that it was something dark or some dark creatures or evil spirits that were around him making him do it.
Oh, he's pulling a Berkowitz.
He said that he was maybe possessed or he was influenced.
Maybe I was possessed.
And he was kind of just alluding to
shocking approach.
All these little things. And Sherilyn could tell that he was wanting the book to go that direction, that he was possessed or he was demonically influenced or something.
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
She did not believe him at all. And she did believe that he probably found God because he was like quoting scripture. I mean, at the very least, he read the Bible a lot. But the demonic bit, not at all. And again, on the internet, I found a lot of people like on Facebook and Reddit, not actual articles, but people just saying he was possessed or there were demons in the house or, you know, Amityville. Like, and I'm like, where is that story coming from? Because this is really all he says.
Yeah.
And then that's it. He doesn't like, I don't know. He doesn't swear by it. He just, I think he saw an opportunity to rewrite his history and that's it.
I'm not responsible.
Yeah.
I'm just as much a victim as they were. This was done to me.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah, well, all villains start as victims.
Yeah. Yeah. After their initial visit, they maintained contact via letters. And Sherilyn mentions in a documentary that I watched that the letters these inmates could write, that they did write, whenever they're leaving the facility, they're not read or opened. I don't know if that's normal or not, but...
All incoming mail is supposed to...
Incoming is. She did say
outgoing.
incoming was looked at, but not outgoing.
Yeah.
I didn't look into this, honestly. I'm taking her word for it.
Yeah.
Let me know, I guess.
I'm curious,
Right? Yeah. In these letters, Chris begins to confess to Sherilyn. He said that he has decided to free himself, which is why he's unloading.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was going to, like, literally free himself.
No. Spiritually.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Unburden his soul. Chris admitted to Sherilyn in one of his letters that the murders were premeditated. Just like you were suspecting. He says that he put Bella and Cece to bed and then he just waited because he knew that that would be the last time he tucked in his kids.
Okay.
He said he could not stop himself from what he knew was going to occur the following morning. That morning, when Shanann came home, Chris said that he had sex with Shanann in order to disarm her.
Mm.
He then leaves the room and goes to Bella and Cece's room where he smothers them.
Oh, so he smothered them first.
He says he smothers them so they wouldn't hear him murdering Shanann.
Okay. Damn, this is... Yeah.
Yeah. He never brought up the affair in this letter, but he does say that him and Shanann get into an argument about marriage and their future and that he doesn't love her. And then Shanann said he would never see the kids again. And then that's when he strangled her. He continues to say in this letter how he knows how to choke and where the jugular vein is, and he knows how to press on it to cut off oxygen to the brain. And he said that Shanann blacked out quickly.
Mm-hmm.
He also said that he drugged her again that night too, or that morning.
Yeah.
With the oxycodone. And this was interesting to me because I didn't look this up. I didn't think about it till the last minute. I'm wondering they didn't do an autopsy on her because the police were speculating that she was drugged because there were no defense wounds on her. Like she didn't look like she fought.
What they probably did, because all homicides have to have an autopsy done, but they don't necessarily test for every drug.
Okay.
That's not specifically requested. Like they test for the big ones, you know, alcohol, morphine, cocaine.
Okay.
But if something's really specific, they like know to look for that.
Okay.
And they
so maybe
might
they
not
didn't
have.
Okay. Because I saw police being like, no, we're pretty sure that she was drugged. I'm like, pretty sure? What do you mean? They're like, well, there's no defense wounds on her. Like she didn't look like she fought back at all.
Yeah.
So she must have been
and
somehow
he would probably
sedated.
have had scratches,
Something.
on his arms, stuff like that. So, yeah.
It's weird though because he recants this piece of information, the drugging her. Like he goes on and off with. That's why I said like his details go back and forth.
I don't know which story of his I believe between this one of killing the kids first.
Well, hold on. There's more to this story.
Oh, okay.
So he's in the bedroom with Shanann. As Chris is in his room with Shanann, he realizes that the kids are awake.
Oh.
And he says in his letter he didn't know how they woke back up because he thought they were dead.
They both woke. He mistakenly killed both of them?
Right.
Or I should say failed to kill both of them?
Yes. Right. I don't know.
But
I mean, it's all, he says smother,
not,
so I'm assuming with a pillow.
Yeah, not with a, not.
So I'm guessing if that is true, it's possible that he waited until they just stopped.
Yeah.
Which they're
after
still
you lose
breathing.
consciousness, you have to keep it for a few more minutes for your flatline. So.
Right. And if he's not looking at their faces and you can't see them. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He says he then takes everyone into his truck, like we know, and he goes to the work site, proceeds to go through, and he keeps his story the same there. In his letter, though, he did write that he rolled Shanann out of the truck. I don't know, just the crass way of talking about it. And as he was doing that, the girls were asking, what's wrong with mommy? What are you doing with mommy?
Okay, so they were still alive the whole way to the site.
Yes, yes. The story to the site is all the same. He just gives a little more of what the girls were doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Now we can probably assume that it was premeditated, at least to some level.
He tried killing the kids initially.
I think he did drug Shanann. Yeah. If nothing else, I think he drugged her ahead of time and knew that he was going to do it. I think he knew.
Doesn't get much more premeditated than drugging someone.
Right. Sherilyn said after all of this, after she learned of all this, that he just wanted to kill them and have his new life.
Yeah.
That's what she got from all of it.
Yeah. He's having an affair. He's frustrated with the life he has. It's just, for whatever reason, he chose this as opposed to divorce.
Yep. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense, but it's what happened. Yeah, it's exactly what happened, and he admits it. And yeah, the details get a little foggy, but that's what he did. And
like I say, the person that's statistically most likely to kill any one other person is their spouse. So
Chris is still continuing his multiple life sentences in Dodge Correctional Facility in Wisconsin. He's only like 7 years into that right now.
Yeah.
But he did ruin lives that are still alive today. Like I mentioned, Shanann's family had to deal with quite a bit of harassment from these internet people coming in and thinking that they know best. And to the point where they were calling her dad, they were commenting on things, they were finding things. He had to make a public announcement to say, please stop, please leave us alone. We're mourning. We're trying to live our lives. And I don't get why people have to do that. If you have an opinion, great. Keep it to yourself. There's strength in shutting up.
Everyone has main character syndrome.
No one cares about you. No one. No one cares about me. It's freeing. You can do whatever you want.
We're a nation of sociopaths.
God.
That all want the whole world to revolve around them.
Well, on top of this, Nicole Kessinger, I saw two different things with her. She for sure has changed her name and moved.
Oh, wow.
That's both theories. But one of them is that she did that on her own because she was getting harassed and messed with so much, which probably. The other one is that the police helped her, put her into witness protection. Either way, she's gone.
Yeah.
She's out of this whole world. She was like, fuck this. I had nothing to do with this.
Jeffrey Dahmer's brother did that too. Yeah, he changed his name and no one knows where he's at.
Sherilyn Cadle published her book that is titled The Murders of Christopher Watts. I did not read it. I just found out about it kind of at the end here. I'm assuming it says a lot more of what he said.
Yeah.
It's probably up and down quite a bit. I will say the most I got from all of this was the friendship. I don't know where Chris would be without Shanann's friends to call the police and say, hey, what's going on? Because it was Nicole Atkinson. And there were other friends, too, that were calling and helping with as well. Nicole was the one that lived closer and could be kind of the boots on the ground. But her other friends were all a part of it, too. And they were all like, this is wrong. This is messed up. And they stepped over Chris and they said, no, our friend is missing and you're not helping. Step aside. And it was a group of women that the police listened to and they did their due diligence. Like it worked out. But I'm assuming that Chris probably was going to go to work that day. He already started the cleaning process.
Yeah.
Come home, maybe get rid of everything else. And then I don't know. I mean, I think eventually he would have been found out because he seems a little dumb.
Yeah, because how is he going to explain
just his
that they
family gone?
Yeah, without apparently he was too stupid to even bring his wife's like wallet and purse and cell phone with him when he got rid of her body. So, I mean, how's the guy going to explain his family just disappearing in the thin air? Like, she doesn't turn up anywhere. She's close to her family. She doesn't have her wallet. She doesn't have her spending money.
She has
like
nothing. Her medicine.
Yeah. Like, I probably wouldn't have taken long for.
Probably not, but I think, I don't know. I just really liked
I'm not discrediting.
seeing
they
friends.
did.
Really step in. And I don't know. I have friends that I've checked in on before, or even regulars at certain jobs I've worked at. I've had the police do welfare checks. They haven't been around in a while because I am extra, and I will always be extra, because the one time I'm not, you're going to die. I'm always going to be extra. Don't care. But that's it. That's Chris Watts. There's nothing paranormal, nothing other than a man who,
despite his best efforts,
didn't know how to handle his emotions. And just get a divorce, guys.
Yeah.
Just get a divorce. That's it. Well, see you guys next time. I don't know how to sign off on that.
We'll see you in the internet.
Yeah, we're never going to see you because we're a podcast. But yeah, I guess follow us on all the things, Instagram, Blue Sky. Oh, if you do have suggestions on any stories or any families, cases or just interesting families.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be crime.
Yeah,
they're fucked up in a non-criminal way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, I want to do more interesting ones that are less true crimey. I want to be a little more uplifted, I guess. So send in your suggestions, comment, or leave a message on Instagram, or scroll down wherever you're streaming right now, and you can click on our email address and send us that way. All right, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Said it all. Let's go.
Let's go.
Bye.
Bye.